Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Owner's Box. I'm Billy Koch, founder and managing partner of the Little Red Feather Racing Club. Joining me alongside, as always, is my chalk eating weasel, Michelle. You.
I
What
like
is
that.
that? What does that mean? Chalk eating weasel, like you're
Yeah,
eating
look.
the chalk from the
Yeah,
race.
from racing. Yeah. Oh, my shirt's dirty.
Where'd you get that?
It's a in the Money Media shirt, actually.
No way.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Well, we
believe
are
it or
part
not.
of In the Money Media, Pete Fornatell and JK's great network here. Um, who do we have to? Oh, we have Mike Joyce.
We have Mike Joyce,
That's
a
so
real
amazing.
celebrity.
A real racing celebrity joining us on the owner's box. His horse, the filly Hang the Moon, has won 2 straight, including the Win and You're In Rodeo Drive. She will be heading to the Breeders' Cup. We're going to find out all about ownership from Mike Joyce as soon as Michelle does our 3 things of. I wanted you to sing some.
No,
Yeah, that.
no.
Let's try that again. As
Things
soon
of
as
note.
Michelle Yu does our 3 things of.
Note.
There you
3
go.
things of note.
Michelle is an
3
excellent
things of note.
singer. If you haven't watched her TikToks, I'd never go on TikTok. And sometimes, someone sends me something. So I end up being on TikTok. And then I
Yeah.
always have everything is just because my For You page is like Michelle Yu, Michelle Yu, Michelle Yu, Michelle Yu, Michelle Yu. And I see you singing Disney songs,
Oh,
80s songs.
yeah.
Yeah. You know all the words.
I know all the words to all the songs. I just can't
You
do
know
them
that
in
one?
tune.
You know what I like? The one that's really hard to sing is tell me what I want, what you really, really want. I want to.
Yeah, the Spice Girls. I
Yeah.
wanna,
Can
I
you do that
wanna,
one?
I wanna, I wanna, I
Yeah.
wanna really, 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 really take
But
a
is there
pizza.
one? There's also a fast one. I think it's what's her name? Maybe No Doubt. Is there a super fast song that's
I mean, she does bananas. This shit is
no,
bananas.
that's
B-A-N.
no, not that
Fergie.
one. Is it?
Fergalicious. Fergalicious.
No,
I'll
that's not
be
it. All
up
right,
in
whatever.
the
No one wants to
gym
hear us
just
sing.
working on my fitness. No? Okay. Um, so the
What
first
happened?
thing of look, the first thing of note is gonna be kind of like a really huge, massive race recap because it
Yeah,
was like Breeders' Cup winning your ins from all across the
everywhere.
country.
Okay.
I feel like there's too many to even talk about each individual one.
Okay. Well, why don't you
Um,
name the 3 that were the most impressive to you?
well, how about the 3 that maybe not most impressive, but how about the baby races? Just because I think that they
Sure.
have a lot of sway on our gambling for the Breeders' Cup, right?
Absolutely.
So here we had the Oak Leaf and the American Pharoah. They
Oh, and
had
it was quite
the
a shock in those 2 races because they were won by a guy I've never heard of before. I think his name is Bob Buffert. I don't
Buffert.
know how to say it.
You should
Buffert?
name a horse Buffert.
Buffert? I mean, it's just
Buffert.
ridiculous. It's not even is it really fun
Well,
watching
now
dirt racing
now,
in
hold
Southern
on.
California?
I will
But
say this, right?
okay. You have something in your
It
ear?
wasn't won by the obvious horse in,
He ran 1, 2, 3 in the Oak Leaf, and he ran 1, 2, 4 in the other race.
yeah, but everyone thought Getaway Car was gonna win and he didn't win.
Eh.
So, does that make it better?
You know how you like to go, "Wah, wah."
Yeah.
It's just it's almost laughable. It's almost laughable. I mean, what do you do? How do you compete? I've said it. I said the Baffordization of Southern California has been on us for probably 15 years, and no one does anything about it. So
I mean, what are
it
we
is what
gonna
it is.
do? If there's a
I don't know.
answer, I hope we can find out, but, what are we
I
gonna
don't know,
do?
Michelle. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, and that's bad. That's my bad, my fault. I wish I had a solution. Do you try to compete with them? Do you join forces with other people?
I
And
mean, basically, it was, 4 Bafferts and 2 Calbreds, right?
right, I think I don't know. I don't know how it's sustainable to have the program that we have in Southern California to be dominated by one person for 10 years in a row.
I agree, and
So,
that's why we see a lot of our field sizes dwindling,
and
right?
that's why you
Because
see people
no one
buying
wants
turf
to face
horses.
yeah, no one wants to face the Bafferts, and then we can't have enough winners because then Baffert has all the winners, and there's no winners races unless they're stakes, and no one wants to run the stakes because why are you gonna nominate and pay to enter a stake that Baffert has a $5 million horse in?
It's not even a $5 million horse. It's 3 $1 million horses, which
To
are
be fair,
more
the
than
filly
what
that won the Oak Leaf, I think, was 150,000.
yeah,
Um,
she was nice too.
So really great weekend for McKinsey from a race standpoint, right?
Yeah,
Because he took
Chancer
both
McPatrick.
of the Chancer McPatrick and Scottish Lassie were both by McKinsey, first year sire there, winning the 2 grade 1 winning your ins. over in Belmont, and a great weekend for Collected because he had 2 horses win turf races at Santa Anita heading into the Breeders' Cup for them, and that's Ironman Cal via DQ and Thought Process, who, I mean, she should win the Breeders' Cup, right? Like,
she is.
the
I
way
looked
she ran is
today.
crazy.
She is some horse, man. She and kudos to Brett Jones, who bred both of them with Airdrie Stud. Matikit is our partner in both those horses, and Thought Process is Frank Marimati's call. That almost made me a Frank Marimati fan. I mean, I like Frank. Don't get me wrong. I do like Frank as a person, and I've just never been like a huge Marimati caller fan, and he kind of got creative there. He's like, she's in another league. He said she won by 6, and it could have been a lot more.
Yeah, she did though. She won by half the length of the stretch, and she could have won by the whole
really impressive, Michelle. I mean, it's hard talking about your own horse like that and just being so high. I looked at the Daily Racing Form thing today for the Breeders' Cup, and she's 4-1. Second choice to an Aidan O'Brien filly who looks really, really good. And we don't know if she's coming over, but I mean, Phil D'Amato's done a great job with her and Ironman Cal, and Hector Barrios knows this filly really well. And you know what? She gets to run at a place she's won twice already. I think that's a huge advantage.
So congratulations out to Ella.
What did you think about the DQ?
Okay, so I was down the gate. So I didn't actually get to see, like, I know it was the DQ. And basically from like my vantage point, which I was top of the stretch, right? So I saw Ironman Cal coming, and I heard Frank's call where he was like, Ironman Cal is, you know, crushing them all down. And then I kind of see like your rider like kind of stand up a touch, but like I have no head-on view, so I couldn't.
It was really weird. It was really weird because the pan, when you're watching the pan shot live, you think he's going by, and then he doesn't, and you're like, did he hang? I think he ran third. Like, how did that?
I thought he hung.
Yeah, and then I saw Fresu stand up right before the wire, and I was like, what is happening? Something happened. I told all our people, I'm like, just stay right here for a second. I have a feeling something very strange happened. And then when you see the head-on, I mean...
So what happened in the head-on then? I should find that, huh? Hold on. Should we find it?
You have no idea. Raylu just started going left-handed like crazy, and Artislas just went all the way out like 6 paths.
That far out?
Oh, yeah, taking Cal all the way out. And when he did that, the other horse, Sabretooth, was coming at the same time. He knocked Cal right into Sabretooth, turned that horse sideways. I mean, it was
okay, what day was that? That was Sunday, right?
Sunday, race 8 or 9. Yeah, it was bad. It was, for anybody who is complaining about that inquiry, I really question your ability to watch a race. And it's okay. And if you say you didn't see the head-on, fine, because I agree. If you just watch the pan shot, you have no idea what's going on. But if you watch the head-on of that stretch, it's impossible not to take that horse down. I'm just glad we finished second.
Right.
Because if we didn't finish second, I don't think it would have been a double DQ. I think that Sabretooth would have gotten the win. And he's a nice horse too. He's got a great forelock. How do Timmy Octane's horses all have great forelocks? Like Johannes and this horse. Is it a thing? Can you make a horse have a nice forelock?
I mean, you can feed them like biotin.
That just gives you. Are you okay? Is everything working?
I forget I'm on camera. I had an itchy boob.
First, you were picking your ears. Then you.
I wasn't picking my ears. I was pulling my hair back.
Yeah.
I'm a mess today. All right. Hold on. Let me share my screen. We're gonna watch this together.
Okay, you got the head-on up. When is Mike Joyce calling in?
Hopefully soon. He forgot he coached his son's thing today. Okay. Let's see. Head-on replay.
All right, I'm going. You know what? I'm going to England tomorrow.
Oh, for fun, huh? Yeah. For funsies.
Tomorrow's a fun day. Sunday, Elm Drive runs in the $350,000 Grade 2 Franklin Stakes against that monster of. Fast forward.
Okay. Is this backside?
stretch. Yeah.
Let's see. All right.
Sorry for those of you listening to this, but
Ladies
Michelle
and
pulled
gentlemen,
up.
there's going to be
I pulled up
a
the video.
change of
Oh, you went too
jockey
far.
in the
I did
10th
what?
race.
No, I didn't
for
right
number
here,
2,
right?
Oh, no, yeah, you're
Satellite
good.
Heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that
The
artist
trainer,
list on the
George
lead?
Papadromo,
No,
please
he's on the
contact the jockey
inside and
room.
Inside?
third.
Okay, then you're in
Yeah.
the middle with the white
We're
flare
in the
strip.
middle. Yep.
Okay.
We're in the middle.
Oh, he's coming up the rail right now.
Right. He makes his move up the rail. We go outside.
Yep.
And
And you
then
guys sandwich
inside
that
is
poor
also
horse.
Sabretooth. So we're now 3 wide. Now he starts like, one path
Okay,
out.
well, you came in and
Yeah,
like
well, we're straight.
didn't
I
touch
mean,
him. Yeah, you're straight. You
no.
came in, but
Yeah, watch
one
Ray Lou go
left-handed,
left-handed. One left hand. Here comes
2
another.
left. Oh.
Here comes another. Yeah, and keeps going, keeps
Oh,
going, keeps
oh.
going. Yeah. I told you. It was bad.
Oh,
It was really bad. I don't know how he finished second. I don't know how Cal.
golly.
I'm zooming in on my screen. Man, that was close for second.
Okay.
I even
All
think the
right.
other. Oh, what is going on? Anyway, so
Okay.
it was rough. And you know what? It was dangerous. I did not like the ride from Ray Lou Gutierrez. I don't know why. I do know why. I do know why he did that. He thought that was his only chance to beat the horse. But I think he put all the horses and the riders in a very dangerous situation. And I think it was wrong. But he was punished and he'll probably get days.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get days for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, we had obviously Mike Joyce's horse won. Hang the Moon did win
Yep.
the Philly stake, the Rodeo Drive.
Yes.
I scream, you scream. Disappointed. Any excuse?
Yeah. No, I think
He had
her and
some
Hector
trouble in the
she
turns.
got in a fight. She got in a fight with him crossing the dirt, and then she got
Mhm.
in another fight with him and blew the first turn. And a 3-year-old facing older, just blowing both turns and losing many lengths. I mean, she only got beat 3 lengths, which is like a miracle. It's almost like she ran really, really well, but just it didn't look like it because of
Yeah.
what happened.
Oh,
But
Mikey the J is here.
she'll go back to her own age group, and we'll be okay. We got to regroup there. But you know what? This game is full of highs and lows, as we say. It is a roller coaster.
But you know who had a high this weekend?
Michael Joyce got high.
This guy
Michael
right
Joyce
here.
got high this weekend.
Michael Joyce does
Mikey
not.
DJ, look at that face. How was practice?
It was good. For like a brief moment there, all 7 kids on the soccer team were running in the right direction with the ball in front of them. It was beautiful. I mean, just for one.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Or are they at the age where the ball goes one way and then they all want to go to the ball and you're just praying that there's one kid with some sense that just stays behind so they can get the ball? Is that the age or no?
We haven't actually progressed that far yet.
Oh, okay.
Now we have like 3 or 4 kids playing swarm ball and then 3 or 4 kids doing cartwheels,
Yes,
telling jokes, wrestling each other, picking the goal up over their head. Like we're at that point right now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Do they call you Coach Mike? Is that or just
yes,
coach? Or?
They call me coach. I'm the assistant coach. Alex is the head coach. I'm the assistant coach, but I had to coach the game all by myself this Saturday. So it was a big Saturday.
Right. Your hair looks great, by the way. I know you're trying to like fix it, but it looks phenomenal. Like it looks perfect.
By the way, we're coming on your show, Billy, and I know we're going to talk about Hang the Moon and all that. All I want to talk about is Cooper because I just started Monsters. First episode. You have to understand, with my wife, she falls asleep in like 20 minutes.
Sure.
She watched a whole episode without falling asleep. So
no way.
This is like Scorsese type grab you. He's phenomenal. You have to be the proudest papa in the world. He is.
I sent Billy this awesome TikTok where they took footage of Eric Menendez and then they like side by sided it with Cooper. So like you can see like his facials and everything.
No, he did it. Listen, I'm extremely proud. There's no words that can describe it. And I hope that both of your children and Michelle's kids one day do what they love and can succeed. It's an amazing feeling, and I'm just really happy for him. You know,
Mike Joyce feels that way all the time because he's basically trained every single television presenter in horse racing. So like when I feel like if any of us do something good, Mike Joyce watches and he's like, I trained that person.
That's true. I did. It started with you, Michelle. You set the bar really high for my progeny.
No, that's not true because Michelle did not know English for many, many years. And she and I would work together. Her favorite term was you guyses.
You guyses.
You guyses. And I said, Michelle, you can't say that. And if you've seen the progression from Michelle from day one till now, it is insane how much better she is. So if you get the credit for that, then I'll give you credit, Mikey. But I think she works hard on her own.
No, I
Mike,
think so far you've continued her education. But back to Cooper, I do want to say he is so convincing. On that note, though, I don't want to be anywhere near him because he's absolutely frightening. He scared the living daylights out of me.
He is, yeah.
Like if I see
Just
him,
wait, just keep watching. For those of you who don't know, it's Monsters, the Menendez stories now the Menendez brothers now airing on Netflix. But Mike, more importantly, horse racing. Now, we're going to talk about Hang the Moon, and congratulations. What an incredible day for you and all the partners. I'm friends with CJ. Was very happy for that whole crew.
He's been on our show before.
He's been on our show, but I have to know, like, this isn't your first horse race or ownership experience? We've talked before about you owning horses, correct?
No, this is the first horse that like I've really been a partnership for. What happened?
Really?
So she's 4 now. I was in on her from the time she was 2. Because the way that CJ Thoroughbreds had this package, it was 12 fillies, and then me and my 3 brothers. So qualified.
Michael, wait. Michael, talk about your family real quick because it's kind of crazy.
Right. So for those of you who don't know, I'm the youngest of 13 children. So
13?
You didn't know that, Billy?
No, but I've always seen these pictures. I thought you had like 5.
No, youngest of 13. I have 6 brothers and 6 sisters, and they're all older than me. So yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. It's a mess.
Your family makes Phil Rivers look bad.
Yeah, exactly. Phil, he stopped at 10. That's
what a loser.
Yeah, like he left out Tim, Pat, and me. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. And Robert Sala, who just got fired.
Yeah.
I think he has like 8.
And now that's stressful losing your job with 8 kids. That's
I know he's getting paid. Don't worry.
That's really stressful.
Okay, so you're the youngest of 13. Wow.
Right. So my brother Eugene, he's really tight with Corey because he worked with Corey at Lone Star when they had the Breeders' Cup there. When you won with Singletary, it's all full circle.
20.
By the way, today is Mike Singletary's birthday.
No way.
Yeah.
I know that. I'm a Bears fan. How do I not know that?
And it's 20 years since that fateful day in November at Lone Star Park, or October, I think it was.
So Corey Johnson actually got his start in racing working for my dad at Arlington back in the 80s.
Wow.
He's known my family for decades. He in turn hired my brother Eugene at Lone Star Park like 20 years ago. And then Corey, of course, was very instrumental in historical horse racing legislation in Kentucky. Sure. My brother piggybacked on that. He passed the same legislation in Wyoming, started Wyoming horse racing. So they had a lot of overlap and they had a lot of partnership. And especially with the historical racing machines that they introduced at Kentucky Downs when Corey was running it, same ones that they used in Wyoming horse racing. So my brother kind of sold a big chunk of his business off, kind of, took a little cash off the table. And then he went in and bought this Phillies package and he put me, John, and Paul on it because we're the 4. I work in racing. John and Paul, all they want to do is retire so they can go to the track every day. And then
me too.
Yeah, and then Eugene works. Where are you? You're at the track every day. I almost became true story. Back in 2009, I'd taken the LSAT and I'd applied and gotten into a couple of law schools. And my brother John talked me out of it. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "You go to the track every day." He's like, "I can't wait to retire so I can go to the track every day." Like, it's the dumbest. He's like, "You want to go sit in court?" It's the dumbest career path.
Right.
So anyway, so he bought us in. So it was a package of 12 fillies, and you kind of buy in and you have shares of all 12 of them.
Yeah.
And it was actually really good. Like CJ, who did a lot of the blood stocking for it, he's the younger one, did a really good job. I think we have. Don't quote me on this. I think out of the 12 fillies, 8 were winners.
That's amazing.
Which is amazing, right? And you're like, some of them, had to go down to the claiming ranks and ended up at Remington and some smaller tracks. But this filly was the one that he always knew she had talent, but it just never really came to the fore. She got her allowance victory at Fairgrounds that winter when they had everything was to the outer rail because the inside of the turf course was dead.
I remember.
No problem. And then she ran in the pucker up. She kind of disappointed. She just kind of had like nothing physical, like that would affect her like athletically, but had like a cough, and then like she had a back colic, and then she had it was just like all these things. And so the way that those Phillies packages work, they try to syndicate to a point where they don't have to ask the partners for money for the first 2 years. So it covers bills and vet bills and training bills for 2 years. And then at the end of their 3-year-old year, they just try to move them off the feed bill, either sell them as brood mares, breed them and sell them, or, like sell them privately or something like that. They just kind of try to move them on unless they're really good. And she hadn't done much before this year,
Wow,
but they
but they
just
kept her.
knew she had that talent.
Talent.
And honestly, I really do. And you two are both native Californians. I'm not a native Californian, but I've lived here more than anywhere else I've lived in my life. Like, this is my home. I really do believe it's because she came to California.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the change of scenery and the change to Phil D'Amato, who obviously is my main man, the change of surface. There's so many things. I remember when she came out because we work against her a lot with a bunch of our horses. And I was always really impressed with her in the mornings. In fact, the first race she ran when she won out here, I actually bet her that day. I think she was a nice price.
Yeah, she was she was like 8-1.
Yeah, and I loved her that day because I had seen her work. She's a really nice filly. And so tell us, like, so you get involved, but like, to be honest, like, I didn't know until the other day that you even owned the filly. You kept it under wraps, or else I was just living under.
No, when they won at Del Mar, he went berserk.
Oh, he was there. Okay.
Well, yeah, here's the problem, Bill. You're always at the track, so you're never watching mine.
Someone said that the other day. Someone asked me, like, well, who do you like on TVG? I go, I have no idea. I don't watch TVG. Like, well, how come you don't watch TVG? I go, because I'm at the races.
Yeah,
what am I supposed to do?
It's been so long since you watched. We changed the name of the network to FanDuel 2 years
ago.
ago.
FanDuel. Sorry. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. You clearly don't watch. We don't even have the horse set out there anymore.
I have no idea.
No, but you know what? Phil gets all the credit in the world. And he loves her. Like, he keeps telling me how much he thinks of her. Yeah. But I also think, and I think, him and Jess Pfeiffer think the same thing. When she came out here, just like whatever it was, like it's like back in those old Westerns when like people would get the consumption and they'd send them out west, and it'd open up their lungs. Like, she came out west and she just started thriving. Like, whatever, the mountain air, the ocean air, the California air, like this climate just agreed with her. And she's been a different animal.
The moon was like a person with consumption from the Wild West.
Yeah, probably.
I knew this would be a funny show. I'm glad I had a little sip of whiskey before we did this because I'm in Kentucky. Mikey,
right here.
There you go. But like now, when a lot of times in these big races, when you win them, there's a bunch of thoughts that go through your head right away. Been there. Michelle's been there. I'm curious to you because you had this huge win at Santa Anita. You had the Breeders' Cup. You had another big purse. Like what goes through your mind after the wire?
So after the wire, first of all, I was like in utter disbelief, right? Because I went into the maybe thinking she had a chance. I knew she had to beat Didia and Anisette, were excellent horses. I'm a Thorough guy. On sheets, it was like, you know what? She paired up sixes. If she runs through that, then she beat them. But they're going to have to, not be their monstrous selves. Didia didn't run a good race. Yeah. Anisette, I think they were kind of focused on Didia, and they didn't really know where we were. But look, we passed Anisette. I don't know if that was Anisette's best race, but we passed Anisette down the stretch. I thought it was legitimate. The final eighth in that race was 11.
I thought it was very legitimate.
Yeah. So I'm like, I think, like she made up a few lengths, and she probably came home in like 11-1 in that race. So I was like, that's great. But going into the Rodeo Drive, you don't expect them. I don't expect her to do that twice. I was like, okay, that was our day in the maybe. That's great. She got like an 85 buyer out of it. We were trying to talk like, is she Breeders' Cup capable? Is she Breeders' because she deserved it? They were like, I don't know, like maybe something like the Matriarch or something, like a little bit later. I'm not sure. Like, I wasn't sure about the Breeders' Cup. But then Phil was like, yeah, I think I'm going to throw her on the Rodeo Drive. And I'm like, all right, like, sounds good to me. And then I see him like a couple days before entries. I think I saw him like the Sunday before. And he was like, yeah, Kazushi might have worked her a little too fast. I'm like, really? Oh. I told him to go 101. She came back in 58 and change. I'm like, that's a lot fast. I'm like, all right.
20 lengths.
Yeah. So, but like I don't know. She was fine. And then during the race was so bizarre. I mean, obviously, because I scream, you scream.
You just lost her mind.
Turns, yeah. And then Lucky
Girl was on the lead, like he was crazy.
And so it's just kind of it's a disconcerting feeling when you're coming from last and nothing in front of you is as you expected. You're just like, this can't be good. But you kind of get that feeling like, oh my God, we could win. He just kind of started like moving on her. She kind of starts winding up in the turn before she really switches leads into that gear. And he just kind of started winding her up in that turn. And as soon as she started kind of just eating up ground in the turn, I'm like, I think she's going to fire a big race again. I'm like, I think this is going to happen. and then she flew by. And then the thing that I did not expect is she left zero doubt. I mean, it was like
No.
Oh, she was much the best.
I was like, oh my, like I was totally speechless. And then Caleb, the bastard, ambushes me like I do to
You
all
can say that. You can say that on their show.
But like now I know how you feel, Billy, when we come and like throw the microphone in your face.
Yeah, you're kind of like,
you can't breathe, right? You're just trying to like walk.
Did they have like the ISO camera on you for the race?
Oh yeah, not during the race. Just when I came to the grandstand, and then Caleb caught me and all four of my chins bouncing into the winner's circle, and I was like, oh.
I have a major man boob problem right now.
Yeah, it's called aging. I got the same thing. I got to be.
Yeah.
So,
you came down in the winner's circle, and Caleb sticks the mic in your face.
So Caleb sticks the mic in my face, and it was one of those moments. It almost felt like the first time, because you used to broadcast, Billy, and you know, Michelle. You know, like the first time you go on camera, you're just talking, but you're almost in a black. You can't remember or know what you said. You're just like petrified. Like, oh my God, I hope these words come out and in the right order. That was it. Like that, I was in that just utterly flabbergasted state where I couldn't decipher what I was thinking or what I was saying. I was trying to describe the race to him. I don't even know if I said things right. Like it was.
You're like horse fast, very fast horse.
Fast horse. She was amazing. Wait, you know, it's funny that you say all that because on our show, I mean, Michelle and I have been doing this for, I don't know how many years now, but we're always talking about that raw emotion. And we always talk about that adrenaline rush that you really can't get anywhere else. And you're broadcasting it all the time, you know, seeing people kind of go crazy. And then you become one of them and you're like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
Was there like kind of I understand this now, why people are so fucking crazy?
1,000%. And it's not even, and that's only half of it is, oh, I get it now. The other half is, oh, I didn't get it before. And you're really just like, wow, did I not get it before? Like, holy cow. Like, I really had zero idea. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is completely different than I could have ever. It's just, and I feel like to use the parallel, the feeling is, it's like a horse running off on you, right? Like the emotion is just like, it's getting dragged out of you. You can't hold it in. And so I will never make fun of you for crying in the winner's circle ever again, Billy, ever. Because you're a very macho guy. You're very handsome. You're very attractive, right? And I just, sometimes it's, like you're an easy target when you start. You're like crying Jordan, right? Like when Michael Jordan's crying, like I can't believe Michael Jordan's crying. I couldn't believe Billy Koch is crying. And now you're Captain Waterworks anymore. But I get it. I get it. I was like, you are at the mercy of the moment, and in such a beautiful and wonderful way. But there's nothing can compare to it. Nothing.
Well, and then you look over and you see Jessie, who rides the horse in the morning, and she's just a wreck and she's crying her eyeballs out. And then and what it is, and I think you'll understand this now, is like you become very selfless at that moment. Like, at least I do. I start thinking about, obviously, the partners. I start thinking about Phil and Jesse and Rudy and all the people, the grooms that make this happen. Because truthfully, Mike, you and I had nothing to do with it, right?
Right.
We didn't do anything except go there and enjoy it and have the best time of our lives watching this filly run. And so you start thinking about all this stuff. And I think that's what draws the emotion more than just winning a horse race.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's like an NFL owner, right? They're like, oh, I own the Cowboys. Jerry Jones doesn't own the Cowboys. The city of Dallas owns the Cowboys, right? He gets to have the ownership.
I thought he owned the Cowboys.
Well, he does, but the fans own the Cowboys, right? The Cowboys fan, Stan Kroenke owns the Avalanche, but the Avalanche belong to Colorado, right? I mean, so I own a piece of Hang the Moon. CJ Third, we own Hang the Moon. But like the horse belongs to Phil and to Kazushi Kimura and to Jess, to the people who are working with that horse, and to the groom. Like that's who owns the horse, right? We're like that. We're like the stewards of the horse. We pick the horse out. We get to pay the bills. We get to be associated. We're paying money for that association. We're paying money to be a part of her career. But I'm not with her every day, right? Like my dog is my dog because he wakes up next to me every day and he licks my face like, let's go, right?
And you feed him.
Yeah, like Hang the Moon is waking up every day next to the groom, next to Jess, next to Phil D'Amato. Like that's Hang the Moon's family. And I'm really, I get what you're saying, Billy. Like you get really happy for them. And then you feel like, even though we're the ones who are, owners, I I didn't pay anything, but the owners pay the bills. But you feel like what you're paying for is the privilege to be included into this, like this competition, this circle, these people. And then you get, like I love horses. I love animals, right? Like, so yeah. And you see that, like, I love horses, right? But I don't love horses the same way that Jess Pfeiffer loves horses.
Right.
Where she, like, if you took horses out of her life, she would have no reason for being, right? If you took horses out of Michelle Yu's life, Michelle Yu would have no reason for being, right? I mean, other than your children and whatnot, everybody has family. Don't get me wrong. I'm putting it in front of that. But
like, we get it.
But it's that, to me, is what, when you say you feel that selfless feeling, you feel that joy for everybody involved.
Right. That's amazing.
Mike, how's it been with your brothers?
It's a lot of fun. And they're like, my brother Eugene he thinks he's in the Rat Pack. Like, he thinks he is, right? Like, he feels like, Joey Bishop stole his role. He was supposed to be there with Frank and Dino and Tammy Davis. So he's very gregarious and he's very outgoing, and he's a very good gambler, and he is a very good handicapper. And he really, of all of us, he probably has the DNA that is most horse racing. Like, he is just in it. My brother Paul is one of those guys. He's so smart that no matter what he does, he's going to be good at it. He's just very bright and he's very fast. And so horse racing, hits a guy like that right between the eyes. I mean,
of course.
Like the last time he came to Del Mar, or no, it was before the Derby, actually. When we went to the Derby 2 years ago, I was like calling him, and he was, his job at the time is, he's a trader. He's always worked, in stock exchange or commodities or whatnot. His most recent job was trading renewable energy. And what he was doing was, he's got a whole team that works for him, but he's positioning, where they are in the market and what they're, setting themselves up for years and, months and years down the line. And so I'm calling him, and I just sent it was like the day before he was supposed to fly to Louisville. And I'd like sent my brothers like the entries, and like I'd sent them like the daily racing form or whatever. And I call my brother Paul. I'm like, "You ready for this?" He's like, "Ready for this." He's like, "I've missed $500,000 worth of trades because of the $2,000 I'm going to bet on the Derby."
Did he have a mistake? Did he win?
He did not have. No, it wasn't Mystic Dan. It was Mage.
It was Mage. Mage was tough.
My brother John did all right. So then my brother John he's the one that smokes like 4 cigars a day. He's a lawyer in Chicago. And he's like my godfather. He's always been kind of like my protector. Like, he's like the typical big brother to me. Him and Paul are really tight because they're close in age, but John's always been like, I think he's 16 years older than me. So He's always been my godfather. He's just like as even keel as anybody. Like, if there's a problem, John will solve it. Like, he's just a great guy in the mix. But you get like the 4 of us together, and it's like my brothers, they're like a comedy routine, the 3 of them.
And do you have to work the Breeders' Cup? You probably have to work the Breeders' Cup, right?
Well, yeah.
So I'm working the Breeders' Cup, but Michelle's done that show. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm just going to gamble that my boss doesn't hear this.
No, they don't. They don't watch the show.
Breeders' Cup and Derby are actually 2 of the easiest days of the year, because
Really?
we throw 1,000 talent at it, and we split the work 15 different ways, right? So it's like, and you're talking.
I've got my schedule.
Right. I've already been sent the first iteration of the probables for the Breeders' Cup. So you're talking about races that we're handicapping for a month, and then we do all the work. I mean, the work leading up to it, brutal. But the day of the Breeders' Cup, the day of the Derby, like your work has been done for days at that point, and you're splitting it 100 ways. So I'm actually on one of the sets. We have 2 sets for Breeders' Cup. I'm on one of them for the Filly and Mare Turf.
You're not going to You're not going to tell Becky hey.
No, hold on. Christina is on the set for the Sprint. So I think we might have to do a little bopperoonie.
Swippy swappy.
Have the favorite in the Sprint. They might be the favorite. So
that's crazy.
What's
how much time since the win? So it's been a few days now. Have you been on all websites seeing who's coming for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf? Would you say a day?
Not that much. Not that much.
Really?
My obsessive. No, because the thing is, I know without looking that there's going to be 2 or 3 fillies from Ballydoyle, 2 or 3 fillies from France. The Japanese are coming with 19 this year. Like, I could be the best American prospect and be 25 to 1 in the Breeders' Cup. I'm well aware of that, right? So I know, like, just in case we hit the high water mark, what I did was after the rodeo drives, I came home. My wife was out of town. put Luke to sleep, and I sat on my couch and I watched that race maybe 35 times.
No
At
way.
least. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Texting my brothers, calling them, like texting with CJ Johnson and then Damon Thayer, the senator from Kentucky. He's in on the horse. Mike Schnell, the guy who owns the Thoroughbred Club in Louisville, is in. So I'm like texting, calling partners, like, and I just sat there on my couch and just like I watched that race over and over and over again.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm just going to enjoy the hell out of this as much as possible.
Hey, look,
So cool.
Gold Phoenix last year was, I think he was 40 to 1. I have to look. I think he was 40 to 1. He ran 4th. And I mean, that's $200,000 in a $4 million race. I mean, we were going crazy that he ran 4th. Like in the Breeders', that's what's beauty about the Breeders' Cup. Anything can happen. Look, are you up against it with these Euros and the Chad Browns and whoever else ends up in here? Of course you are. But you know what? You deserve to be there. And you get to take your shot. And that's what's so great about racing. That's what that's just the best. It's going to be the best. You're going to have a great time. And
my delusional reasoning that, oh no, we deserve to be there and we're the best and we're, they got to come run for us, is final time for that race was 1:58.58.
Yeah.
CJ Johnson, I texted him that. I go 1:58.58 because that's a time that's mind-bogglingly fast, right? I know it's a glib term. That's fast. So CJ texts me back. He goes, does that hold up? I was like, does sub 1:59 10 furlongs hold up anywhere? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And so like I'm making fun of him. Then he goes, I'm more of an internal fractions guy. I go, okay, let me translate. Add up the internal fractions. It's 1:58.58. It's fast.
It's so you're gonna have so much fun. Like you're gonna have so much fun the next month. Like what do you, besides if you take out
or you're gonna be so nervous.
No, take out the race. Tell me what you think in your head you're most looking forward to.
So I made a reservation at Red Tractons Saturday night for me and my brothers. Two of my brothers have never been to Red Tractons.
Oh, wow.
I was thinking of, because like for them, like you have to realize, Billy, you've been into that place 1,000 times. Yeah. You've walked by the picture of Bill Shoemaker and Wilt Chamberlain 1,000 times. You've seen the historical win. They've never seen that. So these guys who are racetrack junkies who, they live vicariously through me. They meet
How freaking cool is that?
So like I was like thinking, what's the most racetracker you go to Del Mar, you have to go to? And I know all of us local Californians, like, oh yeah, it's Reds. But like for someone who hasn't been there, it's Reds. Like this is like that is it's a step back in time. You're walking in to 1964 and you're like old school racing when it was the king of the world. So I think that dinner, whether we win or lose, if we win, it'll be off the charts. If we lose, it's still going to be a great time. But just like hanging with my brothers like that, because we really don't get together. We were actually this last 3 weeks ago was the first time all 13 siblings had been together since my dad's funeral. My dad passed away in 2006, so it would have been almost 20 years.
No way.
All 13 had been together. Yeah, it's hard.
How many kids are there? Kids of the 13 are there? How many nieces and nephews do you have?
I think including my kids, my mom has 28 grandchildren. And then
that is amazing.
My nieces and nephews have kids. So I'm a great uncle. I've always been a great uncle. Now I'm a grand uncle. But I think I've got eight grandnieces and nephews. I'm not really sure, but they're like they're the same age as my youngest because I've got nieces and nephews in their 40s. Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So fun. You know what? Mike might be good on our Breeders' Cup draft show.
Oh, he'd be so good. He'd be so good.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun. What questions do you have for me and Michelle? Because you're the interview guy. Well, I ran out. I'm done.
Oh, what questions do I have? Well, I want to ask you, Billy, about Ironman Cal, because I was right next to you when that DQ. I knew you were lying, but you're like, if they don't take this horse down, I quit.
I did say that. I did. We just did it on the show. We just looked at the head-on with Michelle because she hadn't seen it. And I was like, that's preposterous. Not only that, but like what Raylu Gutierrez did, I'll say it again, was, in my estimation, was very dangerous. He tried to win the race by actually moving us out. And I've seen people do that before. Sometimes they don't get taken down, but like, it was very strange. I don't know.
Well, and Ray was definitely smarting at the decision. Like he was just kind of sitting there. I think
he knew. Was Mullins' reaction? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, man. He just finished second in the over 60 in his pro debut at the flexing
So,
contest. So
he's very big.
he came out of the paddock looking bigger than any horse that was in that race.
He just got his pro card, I think.
Yeah, no, his first. He was second in the over 60
Yeah, he was second.
professional competition. And I offered to Tanya Harding the next Paragonese, whoever beat him, but he didn't take me up.
He looked like a John Sadler or like a Mike Mitchell horse back in like 1989 at Hollywood Park on a Friday night.
Oh my gosh. That's exactly what it looked like.
Oh
but,
boy.
No, but Ironman Cal, look, I thought Ironman Cal, that was a bang up race. I think all three of those horses are really good. I think all three of those are really good. But
I don't think any of them are as good as Thought Process.
Probably not. But hey,
you want time? She went 134 and 1.
I know she was ridiculous, but
she's ridiculous. All right, listen,
Mike. Now, wait. Are you buying into another group of horses then?
So I'm not personally. My brothers Paul and Eugene went back in on a second group, and then I don't know if they were in on the ones that are 2-year-olds this year or not. But I was just in on the first package.
I would never want to steal clients from CJ, but give me the numbers of your brothers, please, anytime. I would like to.
Here's the thing. Well, this is how you know. This is how you know that my brother Eugene is the rich one and not me. If it was my doing, it would have been Little Red Feather, and
Oh, thank you, Mike.
You know that.
I know CJ does a great job, though. I like that.
He does. They do a great job, and I'll tell you what he does. What Hang the Moon has done is it's made them think, and they just went to the September sale. Now he's got in his head we can send turf horses to Phil in California.
Yeah.
Anything bringing horses to California, as you know, is welcome by any and all.
Huge.
So if there were some more CJ Thoroughbred horses in California, and if we could get, look, it's the best place.
Well, and we know who's been buying for CJ, Moret and crew, and we know Moret can pick out a horse for Southern California because she buys for Speedway and Exline Border, both of whom do excellently in California.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. What do we do about California, Mike? Is that I don't want to go into a whole discussion. We've kept you way longer than you probably needed to keep, but to me, it's money. We need we need to be able to compete with the revenue streams of the other jurisdictions that these purses are 134,000, 110,000. Like that's I don't know if that's the be all end all solution, but I think it's a must at this point.
Well, the problem is, and I get it, but the problem is when you see $100,000 maiden races at Oaklawn, you see $100,000 maiden races in Kentucky, and you go through those fields, right? It's not all Ron Moquette and Steve Asmussen, right? You start seeing Peter Miller, and you start seeing Bob Hess, and you start seeing these trainers. You can't fault them, and you can't fault their owners because they have it's such a hard game. You have to be able to run for money when you think you have the goods, and you can't blame them for doing that. The problem is it's twofold. It's not just the money. It's also we're on an island out here, right? If you have a horse, look, they're running maiden races for 34,000 at Horseshoe, Indiana, but they're getting horses because they're so close to Kentucky. So you got to brag box, and if they have, hey, look, the designs are stakes racing. We want to get this horse an easy race to start. They're going to send it up there, right? And a bunch of stakes. We don't have that. We don't have the subsidy. We don't have the purses, and we don't have the locale. So I don't really know what it is. I will say this. I will say this as far as, glass being half full, is that California, even now, with all the bad state we're in and having it, much of the year running 3 days a week, et what we're giving away in purses is still top 10 in the country. And if you look at the other 9 in the top 10, they all have a subsidy. We're the
only one that are able to do it on our own.
And so we're the only one where racing, even though it's struggling, and it's struggling like we've never seen in our lifetime, it's struggling on its own merits. And in the places where it's successful on a subsidy. It's not successful necessarily only on its own merits. So that is, at least we still have a product that is competitive despite all the challenges. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a subsidy from alternative gaming or sports betting. I don't know if the Kentucky breeders kick us a subsidy because we are their market for the sales. I know all these things have been kicked around. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not smart enough for all that, but I do need something. I do know that in the short term, if we could just get more horses out here racing, then that would help. That's about as simple as the math as I can do it. We have more horses, we'll have better racing. It'll handle more money. What sends the tidal wave of horses out west? I don't know, because it's not the purse sizes right now. We know that. We don't know if it will be anytime.
Well, and then before you jumped on, we were talking about the Baffordization of Southern California, which occurred 20 years ago. That, you know, who's going to send their horses out to battle him?
Right. The thing is, like, I don't want to like call out the whole industry here, but like, I'm sorry, like, someone take him on. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's doing what he's always done. He gets the number one draft picks. He gets the best horses. Yep. He puts them on a treadmill. He starts working them to be fast. Yep. He trains them to be fast. And if you look at what his horses do, they're not otherworldly, right? They move up. You look at their improvement on a Beyer or a Thoroughgraph sheet or a Ragson. They move up incrementally, start to start. He knows how to develop them. His program is like Dwayne Lucas's was before him. They get a calendar. The Kentucky Derby is this date. We're going to put a big circle on it. The Del Mar Futurity is this date. We're putting a circle on it. And they point everything in the barn to that. Everything in the barn. Now, when you start with those numbers, by the time they start running in Del Mar during the summer, he's got 8 or 10 monsters. Guess what? He started with essentially 200 draft picks before they're sent to Eddie Woods, before they're sent to be broken, before they're sent here. You know, don't
how do you compete?
Yeah, well, I mean, don't forget, Elliot Walden sent him Justify. American Pharaoh was sent to him by Zayat. It's not always, you know, like he's pulling all these strings. Success begets success. And I just like, you know, like I don't like just use an example, like Brad Cox. He's got a string at Louisiana. He's got a string in Kentucky. Send a string out west. See what you can do.
I've asked some of those guys that when they've come out for Breeders' Cup, and you know, I mean, Pletcher could send a string. Chad Brown could send a string, and Chad Brown's the one that told me, like, I could send like my second string, and then it wouldn't be good enough.
That's right. Fletcher said the same thing to me. I asked him the same question. He goes, Billy, if I send my B string out there, I'll get killed.
You're getting crushed.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's a, like you said, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So listen, we could go on and around and we could have you on for 6 hours, but I know you have to drink your beer.
We can just make Mike Joyce our new co-host.
Why don't you just co-host with us every week? Do you want to? It's so much more fun.
Mike Joyce used to have a podcast. Do you still have that podcast?
No.
What happened?
I got canceled. I got not
Why?
that kind of the actual canceled where you got your show gets canceled. Was
it you and Swift? Is that why you got canceled?
No. It was me. And that's why I got canceled. No, I had the second highest listenership of any podcast.
It was awesome.
In the FanDuel family. But the guy who was number one was getting like 200,000 a day, and I was getting like 200 a day. And they're like, that's probably not the same. No, I think what it was is to monetize on. They wanted to monetize it, and they wanted to make sure it made money. So as I understood it, to monetize, we need to get to somewhere between 15 and 20,000 listens per episode, and then that could justify like the cost. And I was like dead at 5,000. It was like 5,800. Yeah, like it was dead at 5,000.
What was the show? I don't remember. It was like a jockey. Didn't you talk to like jockeys and stuff?
You talked to everybody.
I talked to everybody.
You just talked to everybody.
Podcast. It was just like a 30-minute podcast. It was as I saw fit. I had special guests like Dave Weaver. And special guests. He's got the greatest gambling stories of anyone live, and the one that he told involved him falling asleep in the toilets at the Hard Rock in. He was down there for the NHC for the Pegasus when he owned War Story, and he went to the wrong airport. He went to Miami. He was supposed to fly to Fort Lauderdale, and so he's like, "Well, I don't have a hotel room. You know, like, what am I going to do? Well, I've got $2,000. I'll go to the Hard Rock and gamble." I'm like, "Dave, do you know you can exchange money for a hotel room?"
Right. You have $2,000.
But he might have left with $5,000 and didn't need the room.
Right. He didn't really equate that. So. Paragraph turned the page. He like woke up. Someone woke him up. He was like asleep in the stall like that at the Hard Rock. And he's like, "Oh, okay, gotta go."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Mike Joyce, you're the best. Continued success Hang the Moon and all of your endeavors on, watch this, FanDuel TV. It is no longer TVG if you didn't know that.
He's watching.
We got Todd Schrupp back. That was a positive. I do enjoy Larry Colmus. I'm a Larry Colmus fan. I think he's done really well.
He's like your adopted child in Del Mar.
He really is. He gets a lot of free meals, more from Bill Strauss than me, but he's a good man, and his favorite movie is Airplane. So
Hey, I introduced you. I introduced you as such. You probably didn't hear the introduction at karaoke.
No.
I said it.
No.
I said,
hey, that was fun. That was fun. We're gonna do that again? Am I invited back?
You're always invited back. Absolutely. No, I introduced you. I said he was once caught and stuck in a refrigerator and ate his own foot when I called you. And then, but I was drowned out because the other thing I was drowned out was I introduced Doug O'Neill as Doug Zempic O'Neill, and no one heard that one either. So those are my.
Doug got a little loose. He got a little loose that night. Little tiny bit loose.
Yeah, little loose equals very drunk. Yes. No, he was.
Yeah, it was weird.
Anyway, he was like Jim Morrison in a bathtub drunk.
Go be with your children. Mike Joyce, thank you. Good luck in the Breeders' Cup. I'm sure we'll have you on again soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Michelle.
Mike Joyce.
Love Mike Joyce.
He's the best. Just makes it very, very easy. And I hope Hang the Moon does really well in the Breeders' Cup. I'm rooting for all those guys. So
same.
Mikey, enjoy your FanDuel. All right, Michelle, what do we have coming up? Do we have some ad reads, don't we? I saw they sent us something.
Who did? Yes.
You're supposed to do something.
So as we're all talking about different kinds of racing clubs you can be a part of.
Yes.
We have a new racing club called the Morning Line Club. It is the world's first investment and security compliant marketplace for racehorse ownership and breeding, and has officially launched for investors worldwide. Has an entry fee starting at $1,000, and it is revolutionizing horse racing by offering investment opportunities in a new alternative asset class, premium thoroughbreds. Investing in the entry fee today will grant you at least 2 racing shares and 2 breeding shares of every horse in the portfolio, allowing you to invest in the career of a horse rather than just bet on a 2-minute race. This includes the portfolio will provide an opportunity to maximize their return, including securing up to 80% of purse winnings and 50% of breed fees for every single horse. So we are going to be getting someone from the Morning Line Club on to talk a little bit more in depth.
These guys. I met with these guys. They're pretty smart. I'm going to be just completely honest, and I would really like to have them on because I don't completely understand the concept. So I think it's great if the Morning Line Club could come on and kind of really explain it to the average Joe like myself and Mike Joyce, and what it all means, because they're doing trading, and it's almost like its own stock exchange of horses, kind of. So it's very interesting. And look, you know me, I'm game for anything new to drive more interest in our game. So I look forward to speaking to someone from Morning Line for sure.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. Coming up this weekend at the Great Race Place, we're going to have live racing. Obviously, Friday, we have the California Distaff. We're going to have racing on Saturday that includes the California Flag. Sunday, the Swing Time Stakes. And then we're having Monday racing, aren't we?
Yes.
Is it next Monday? Or is it this Monday? Yes. It is this Monday, right?
Yep.
No, it's this Monday. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
this
14th.
Monday.
Yes. Yep. Okay. So Dollar Day coming up this weekend as well.
Beautiful.
And I don't know if you know, one of my favorite horses was Best Pal. We're doing a Best Pal pin giveaway.
I love Best Pal.
I definitely have to get that. So Dollar Day this Monday, dollar beers, dollar sodas. I see a picture of a hot dog, but it doesn't specifically say hot dog. So I don't want to go advertising and causing an issue.
$1 dogs.
Well, it's usually $2 dogs.
Oh.
And then next week we'll be back with some way more fun stuff in the infield, the pumpkin patch, Beta Mania, and a pizza party as well.
All fun things at the Great Race Place. Get out there and go see it this weekend. And Michelle, you're always the best to work with. I appreciate you.
You're the best. I appreciate you.
This will be my final show.
No, shut up.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. As long as we get Mike Joyce on again. Maybe we should have 3 hosts. Who cares? Right? It's like, it could be like Smartless.
I like it.
All right, let's do it.
All right,
guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.